Welcome back to Barça Vibes. This is a straight update on Spotify Camp Nou, where the stadium is now, what's changed in the last week, and what real verifiable progress means for the club and the fans. We'll focus on three areas fans rarely hear about in detail: the official Phase 1A approval and what it covers, the concrete and ground level works that form the stadium's backbone, and the exterior, specifically the blue and red decorative panels that are now being fitted to the facade. Just the newest developments explained clearly, piece by piece. Let's start with the paperwork, because that paperwork matters. This week, the Barcelona City Council issued the first occupancy certificate for Phase 1A of the Camp Nou renovation. That license authorizes access to the main stand and the south goal areas, and sets an initial operating capacity in the region of 27,000 spectators. It's a major administrative milestone because it confirms inspectors have validated a set of structural, fire safety, and evacuation systems for those sectors. Now, a critical caveat: the club has chosen not to rush back under this limited capacity. Instead, Barcelona is waiting to activate a larger reopening, Phase 1B, which would raise usable capacity to around 45,000 spectators. The decision is pragmatic. A partial reopening with just 27,000 seats would complicate operations and still leave revenue far below full home match economics. More importantly, the club wants a stable, repeatable matchday operation rather than a temporary phase trickle. So what does the Phase 1A license actually cover? First, it confirms that essential player and matchday zones in those stands meet requirements. That includes reinforced dressing room cores, secure player tunnels, and properly designed circulation paths for teams and match officials. Second, it validates key safety systems, emergency lighting, fire detection, and suppression infrastructure, and defined evacuation staircases with the required handrails and signage. Third, it covers the initial set of turnstile access points and the basic ticket scan network for the stands included in this phase. In short, Phase 1A is the first green light. It proves the stadium's skeleton and some internal systems perform to code. But the club's strategy is conservative. They will only return when Phase 1B aligns so match days feel fully operational and commercially viable. That balance between safety, fan experience, and revenue is why the timeline remains cautious. Now let's move inside, beyond the pitch and beyond the seating bowls, into the spaces that supporters will actually use on a match day, long before taking a seat. Think dressing rooms, press corridors, hospitality access ways, media platforms, and the public routes that funnel crowds from the street into the bowl. In the past week, engineers reported concentrated activity on vertical cores. That is, the concrete stair towers, elevator shafts, and service risers that connect concourses, hospitality levels, and press areas. Those vertical cores are critical for two reasons. They carry structural loads under stress, and they host the main utility channels: electrical risers, mains water and sewage branches, HVAC shafts, and fire main pipes. Workers are closing up many of the core formworks and installing permanent stairs and elevator cabin frames. That's a sign the cores are moving from temporary support to permanent use. Dressing rooms and tunnel approaches are also seeing finishing work. These areas require vibration-resistant flooring, high-grade finishes for acoustics, and service access for broadcast wiring. You'll now see electricians running bundled cable trays in the ceiling voids above the corridors, with labeled junction boxes destined for camera feeds and commentary booths. Mechanical rooms adjacent to player zones are being outfitted with pad-mounted HVAC units and early duct access panels. These rooms will later conceal the large air handling units and filtration systems that keep the internal environment stable for players and media. Press and media areas, always a priority for modern stadia, are getting their structural reinforcements. The elevated broadcast platforms require additional bracing to support camera cranes and heavy equipment. In recent site reports, contractors have been installing reinforced anchor points, and laying the subfloor mounts where commentary boxes will sit. That kind of work is not glamorous, but it's essential. If those platforms are not rock solid, you can't host international broadcasts safely. Finally, some concourse zones are being prepared for finishing layers. You'll see exposed concrete now, but in the coming days and weeks, installers will lay screed, anti-slip finishes, and the underfloor ducts for concessions and power. These are the literal walkways fans will experience, and the fact they are being finished speaks to concrete progress. The groundworks, the concrete slabs, the drainage systems, and the outer foundation perimeters have been a quiet but fast-moving front. Over the last week, contractors have reported multiple final pours and finishing operations across concourse slabs. Where earlier we saw rough formwork and exposed rebar, crews are now leveling and applying the final screed in many public circulation areas. Those screeds are the base for the future flooring, tile, resin, or other public-grade finishes. Underneath those slabs, the drainage grids and cable races are being completed. Efficient drainage is essential for both safety and durability. The stadium's new ground drainage channels are being tied into the city's storm network, with inspection ports left accessible for maintenance. In parallel, sub-slab cable channels are being routed so power, data, and broadcast feeds can pass unobstructed from control rooms to pitch-side positions. The external plazas and drop-off zones are also being reshaped. Heavy grading machines have completed much of the major earthworks, and the first layers of paving are already down in key pedestrian corridors. That means the walk from transit or drop-off to turnstiles will soon be straightforward rather than a construction slog. Accessibility ramps and tactile paving for visually impaired fans are being integrated into the plaza designs. These finishing touches matter more than people realize. They transform a construction site into a usable public realm. From a practical standpoint, when you see the plaza paving completed and the turnstile anchor points installed, that is when matchday logistics move from planning into rehearsals. Expect those rehearsals once the internal ticket and security systems are fully configured. Now to the part everyone notices first, the exterior. The installation of the signature blue and red decorative panels has accelerated. Over the past week, major swathes of the stadium's outer skin have been clad with aluminum panels painted in Barça's colors. These panels are not merely cosmetic. They are attached to a structural carrier system that allows for thermal expansion and wind loading while preserving the visual continuity of the design. Crews are performing joint alignment and seal testing right now. That means each panel edge is being checked for water ingress, thermal movement compensation, and mechanical anchorage. Where scaffolding is removed, the panels present as continuous, smooth surfaces, a visible sign the stadium is moving from skeletal to finished. Glass curtain walls in premium hospitality areas are also being fitted. Those glass zones will let premium guests look out over the pitch and the city while being shielded from the elements. An important technical note: facade installations must be coordinated with the interior mechanical penetrations, ventilation outlets, drain lines, and emergency access hatches. The teams are cross-checking those interface points to avoid rework. That coordination is ongoing and is a sign of professional project management, a sign the contractor is sequencing tasks to avoid costly delays. For fans walking by, the transformation is dramatic. The Camp Nou silhouette is again a part of Barcelona's skyline, framed in blaugrana colors and modern materials. Over the next weeks, focus on 4 signals: full scaffolding removal, ticket gate activation and testing, publication of Phase 1B approval, and public matchday rehearsals. When those 4 items happen, the reopening will move from likely to imminent. Practical takeaways for supporters: be ready for stage permissions. The club wants a lasting, safe return. Expect some matches to remain at Montjuic until Phase 1B is validated. And if you plan to travel, check official club communications for seat allocations and ticketing windows. Before we sign off, a quick note for fans who asked how to support the channel. If you'd like to grab official Barça merchandise, jerseys, scarves, or fan gear? I've linked trusted stores in the description. Using those links helps fund these updates and keeps Barça vibes going, at no extra cost to you. If you want the latest 2025-26 home kit and other authentic items, you'll find them in the pinned links below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for trusting Barça vibes for factual Camp Nou reporting. If this update helped, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell. I bring factual rebuild updates without the noise. I'll be here next week with the next round of progress. See you next time. Visca el Barça.